This is the Refined Football Podcast, and of course, as you all know, my name is Affordable David Shoes. I'm your favorite host on the show. So today, it promises to be a super clash. It's the clash of the big boys in the EPL, Manchester United fan in the building, and a Chelsea supporter in the building. Of course, you know these both teams are super giants in the EPL, and they've not been having the best of seasons. So today, I have a special guest on my far right hand in the person of NSC. You're welcome to the studio, my brother.
Welcome to
On my immediate right is my co-host, CJ, Mr. Madrid.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the studio today. Of course, on my left, Mr. Malik Okpeyemi, our guest, a Manchester United fan.
I'm glad to be here.
Welcome. Thank you very much. So today, I'm going to ask the Manchester United fan, Mr. Okpeyemi, some questions about Manchester United. Of course, I'm going to ask the Chelsea fan some questions about Chelsea. And in the end, I'm going to ask a very, very, very tricky question. It's going to be like a clash. Of course, when Chelsea and Man U they play, no how they be now. And the grass they feed the heat. The fans will just go and enjoy the game. So let's go straight to business for today. So Mr. Malik, let me start with you. Manchester United is like, I don't want to disrespect Chelsea, but let me leave that word. Manchester United possible summer transfer targets. Of course, we've been hearing the news making the rounds lately. Manchester United are in advanced talk with Cunha of Wolverhampton Wanderers. A good player, very energetic, pacey, strong, super talented. There is one player that's going to complement the effort of Bruno Fernandes. And Manchester United are also going for Victor Osimhen. But I'm going to ask you, Cunha, a good signing for Manchester United. Do you see him as a good signing for Manchester United?
Absolutely, I would say, because he wants to play for the team, not because of the salary or not because of the wages or anything. His mind is at Manchester United.
So you see him as a big plus?
He's going to help the team. He's going to make a big contribution.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to ask you another question again. In terms of your striking department, you know you have a player, a forward in your team, but not a striker. Just like you rightly said. He's a forward, but not a striker. Rasmus Højlund. This season he has been absolutely poor. Absolutely poor. I think he's had less than 10 goals this season, if I'm not mistaken. Not up to 10 goals. Played so many matches, given enough opportunity to show himself, but he's always below par. Imagine a player playing over 25 games, 30 games and above.
Over 30.
Over 30 games, and in those 30 games, you had 25 to 30 poor display.
Nothing to show for.
Nothing to show. Now, who is going to be Manchester United absolute striking usher? In the person of Victor Gyökeres or Victor Osimhen?
As rumor has it, we can't go for Victor Gyökeres because of the salary cap and the transfer budget. Secondly, we cannot go for Osimhen also because going for Osimhen, we have to have substantial amount up to 60 to 65. That is what Napoli is demanding for. And I see a very reasonable bargain in Delap. The guy is going to cost us 30 or less than 30 if they relegate. Even without relegating, he's still a very good bargain. For his age, for his ability, for the way he carries the ball, I think he's going to be a superb signing for us.
Okay, that is based on the budget. But now I'm talking about who is going to fit in to Manchester United and give you the results you want. Do you think Victor Osimhen?
Absolutely, it's going to be Osimhen because Osimhen is a all-round striker. He is not the type of person that is waiting for you to give him the pass. If it's not coming, he can drop down just to get, yeah.
So your absolute striking option for Manchester United is Victor Osimhen.
It will have been better. That's our preferred option. But in terms of our budget and the financial crisis about the team, I doubt us going for him.
Okay. So recently, I noticed that some players under Amorim, they've improved drastically. If you take into consideration the fact that under the previous coach, these players were not really performing. I'm going to mention two players, Casemiro, Ugarte. When Manchester United were going for Ugarte, he was supposed to be a savior. Of course, you know when he was playing for PSG before Enrique came, he was a mainstay in the team at PSG. He's a workaholic. He's a horse. That guy, the mark. He will mark speed to come up for your body. But when he got to Manchester United, I think the pressure kind of outweighed his performance, and he was on the low. But under Ugarte, and I also found out that he played under Amorim at Sporting Lisbon at some point. And now under Amorim, you've seen Casemiro's last 3 games, top-notch performances. We've seen Ugarte when he was not available, when he was out injured. We saw how it affected the team.
How we missed.
Yeah. Now look at these two players. They are absolutely fantastic. And some other players have also improved under Amorim. What do you think is that magic touch he has been able to infuse into these players?
This is just a coach trying to sell his idea to the player. He's trying to bring something new, something divine, something we are not used to. And I'll just say, Ugarte having problem is because of changing of environment. It happens to a lot of people. When you leave a certain country, a certain weather, a certain way of playing football, to join one of the best league, if not the best league in the world, I don't expect him to adapt easily. But with time, the coach is trying to put in something in those guys' head, and I believe it's working gradually.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry, there's a question I actually wanted to ask you as a United fan. So he actually asked the question the first time, talking about Cunha as a player, if you actually fit in the team. You know, sometimes these kind of players, when they play for the bigger boys, they don't perform to the level you expect them to perform.
That's because of the pressure that comes.
You understand? And now he played for, he actually played for Tico, like Atletico Madrid.
He flopped.
Yeah, he flopped.
And
well, I will not say actually flopped, because I think the salary there was a bit
the problem
lower.
there is less playing time. He doesn't have enough playing time, because when he signed for them, they had Suarez, they had Griezmann, who I believe he cannot compete with.
Okay, now so to you now, with the pressure in Man U now to deliver, do you think he's gonna, the kind of form he is now, do you think he's gonna give it all to Man U as a player?
He has done it.
He has done it in Wolves. See, playing in a smaller team is quite different in playing it. And United, as it stands now, it's kind of thing like they are under pressure. The players are under pressure because they need them to deliver. And do you think him coming into the team, and you know you have big players like Bruno, the Casemiro, and the rest that are others that are already there ahead of him, do you think he can still match up with this thing he has been doing in Wolves and bring that same mentality to Manchester United?
He has the ability. With what we've seen so far, he has the ability. I believe he can deliver it for us. It's going to take time, but not longer, because he's already into the system. What is the system? Premier League.
The Premier League system.
So far you can play and you are able to like establish something for yourself. It's just a key for you to proceed.
But do you believe it's not all players, even if you're in the Premier League, there's certain things you go to, you're not in.
But already Cunha is an established player.
Definitely, I understand. But you see, you know, football, we take it as an assumption. You understand? Everybody might think he would come there and perform. Just like the likes of Zeki, who was definitely doing well in Bologna. In as much as maybe they brought him from a different league and he came to the Premier League. Yeah, it's kind of football, it's kind of different. As he is always saying, he's a 9.5 player, you understand? But coming to Man U, what he has been doing in Bologna, he has not even done 1/4 of it in United. So you understand where I'm going to now?
That is where the changes of environment comes in.
Changes as a good player. There are so many players. That's why I say sometimes they have the extraordinary players, they have the average players, they have the good players, and they have the best players. So to me, now I want to put it to you now. In which category would you put Cunha? In which category? The average player, the good player, and the extraordinary player?
I'll say he's a team guy.
He's a team guy.
We can't say he's a good player.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But he's someone that had a value.
That's an average player.
Yes, we had
an
a
average
value.
player that would fit in.
Yes.
I think I will place him on that podium of a good player, because he's someone that has that technical ability, and is very consistent with Wolves ever since he signed for Wolves. He has had 2 or 3 consecutive
But we cannot
seasons.
compare the pressure that comes with playing for Manchester
That is
United.
That's where actually, yes. That's why I'm hitting on, because the pressure, the heat. United has been this big club. They're falling down to their peak, whereby they are like 14 on the log. It's a big surprise to so many people, mostly their fans. That's why I said, and now from next season, let's say, fortunately, they might be playing in the Champions League. And now you're having the Champions League, which is the big boys league. You're having the Premier League, which is you want to still make the top 4, because playing the Champions League is not a guarantee you're going to win it. You understand? And now you're having the FA Cup, the Carling Cup. So those kind of players, you think when they get to that stage, when they need them to perform, do you see them performing more than expected?
That is why I say he's a team player.
That's exactly where I'm coming
I
from.
said he's a team player.
Sorry, I'm going to come in here. Matheus Cunha is not an average player. He's above average.
You never can play.
He's above average. They have the average, they have the good, they have those on the higher side. So, and a good player is someone that is good at doing basics consistently. What takes you to the next level above good is your ability to consistently influence matches. A good player will help you win games. An excellent player, the GOAT level, Ronaldo, these players will consistently win you game after game, game after game. That is the difference between them. Now, if Matheus Cunha that delivered at Wolverhampton, the pressure is lesser because it is Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
But when you put him in a team like Manchester United that are willing to go all out in the transfer market to get other good players, it is a combination of efforts, the units, that gives you the results. I believe he's a player that will complement the effort of Bruno Fernandes. Look at Bruno Fernandes when he came in the first season. The effort he put in one season is the effort a good midfielder will put in 4 good seasons. What they call draining effort. He drained himself in 1 year. The following season, what happened? People say he's a flop. He's a one-season wonder. It's the same thing that's also affecting Cole Palmer. I'm sorry for deviating. Just an example. It will affect everybody. Look at De Bruyne. He was able to maintain 10 good seasons because he played with top-notch midfielders. They were always complimenting his efforts. De Bruyne is a smart midfielder. He's not a good marker. He's a good ball carrier. Doesn't have good coverage.
No.
He's very smart with his passes. What his pass will do, a player will do it in terms of running, covering space in terms of running. His pass will cover that space. He's not the kind of player that will carry ball now. I want dribble you. He go use pass, finish everything. He's a smart ball passer. That is how they save the energy.
Yeah.
But let's not too dwell on this. Give your final word. Let's go to the next.
Short. I'm a Chelsea fan, but most times I watch Manchester United game, and there's some players in the Manchester United that I love watching. I think Martin Cunha, to me, is an average player.
Okay.
Most times there's some player that you play with, you're able to outshine.
Yeah.
If you understand, with the light of Bruno Fernandes, with Martin Cunha, I think will give the Manchester United better results.
Better result because of his
it's
energy.
Additional.
And Martin Cunha is the kind of player that he have tested Atletico Madrid.
Yeah. Very tough team.
Tested Wolves, very tough.
Tough
So
team.
Manchester United, I think you can do more better. If you watch this season, watch big games against Wolves. Martin, even though they are leading them or they are playing, Martin Cunha will
perform.
I watch against Liverpool.
He do.
The goal he scored is a very, very classical goal. Do you understand?
I love the way he faked the
so
ball
if
before
you come,
he hit the ball.
So if he's introduced to Manchester United team, I think you'll give them a better.
Now
I'm not a
that-
Manchester United fan, but I see them a good
I
result.
want to ask you as a United fan, I just want to ask you a question because it's basically all United for now before we move into the Cunha as a player. For now, Manchester United play a pattern of like 4, I think 3-4-2-1, right? In that midfield, mostly Amorim's pattern has been 2 defensive midfield right from time. You understand? Do you believe now Cunha coming to the team is going to drop one defensive midfielder?
Doesn't matter if he drop
Because-
a blocking 4.
Yeah.
We are in a generation where every player had to contribute to something.
Definitely.
Even if you are the attacker, even if you are the striker, so far you lose the ball, you have to track back.
Okay.
So it doesn't, having 2 blocking midfielder doesn't stop Cunha from playing. And playing just a single midfielder or single blocking 4 doesn't end to what he has to offer also. I believe Cunha will come into the team, deliver something. Yes. But the pressure that comes wearing that jersey, playing in that stadium, I hope he will be able to
Meet up.
And for my last question, before I think my co-host would round up, do you think Cunha can outshine Bruno Fernandes?
No.
In Manchester?
No.
Why do you think so?
Bruno is a complete player,
What?
an all-round player.
Okay, all-round player. Okay.
Sometimes Cunha is lazy.
But I don't see him being lazy in Wolves.
Sometimes he's one of the guys, if you check his statistics, he's
Yeah.
one of those guys that walk most
On the pitch.
on the pitch, walking without the ball.
Yeah, sometimes
actually
sometimes
assessing
in football,
the weakness of
sometimes
the opponent.
you're walking
I know.
You use it in
They're
assessing
trying-
the space
But
to move.
the
move
guy is
in
not always
and-
tracking back. That is the difference.
That's-
Bruno,
that's
you
a-
lose the ball,
Okay.
he comes back.
That's why now I'm not telling you. Okay, now you know one thing about football is goal scoring. He might not track back to mark defend, but when they get the ball, maybe you see him doing this goal scoring. And you know one thing about football, people praise who scores the goal more than who gives the assist.
Sure.
And for now, as a team as Cunha is in Man United, he's always scoring the goals. Do you think at that period in time, do you think he has not assigned Bruno?
No. Bruno is scoring goal also. Apart from Bruno just giving us pass.
Bruno is actually a central midfielder. And Cunha coming to Man U, he's not playing as a central midfielder. He's playing as an attacking midfielder.
Yes.
And you as an attacking midfielder, you need to, like, let's say 60% of you is scoring and assisting the forward, which is the top 9, right? So do you think in that process now, Cunha would fall deep back and let Bruno do the scoring than him doing the scoring, which they bought him for?
What we need Cunha for is the final third passes.
He does not have more than Bruno.
No. You're
His
not
only
getting my point.
chance in United, his only chance in United is those things you're doing in Wolves, the dribble and the scoring, the dribble and the shooting, the dribble and penetrate the defenders. That's what United need him for. That's why I asked you, if he continues doing those things in Manchester United, do you think he's going to assign Bruno? Because Bruno is not going to do. Bruno is not going to step back and give the passes.
It doesn't matter if Bruno stands back. You will definitely see his impact on the pitch.
Okay.
Sometimes Cunha can be ghost.
Okay.
It is very, very
Definitely
difficult
football
for Bruno
Yes,
to be ghost.
definitely.
Even if he's having a bad game, you still try to like show something.
Okay, now thank you for your very, very smart answer. And I'm going to give my just little 1 cent. I understand where it's coming from because Matheus Cunha is like the main man at Wolves. Bruno Fernandes too, this season is Manchester United's main man.
Savior, yes.
And
Savior.
at some point during the season, if both of them eventually plays in one team, you have some games where two of them will shine together. You have some games where two of them will not shine.
Together.
You have some games where one person will shine, the other person will not shine. That is how it is. So when you have the opportunity to be a teammate or a team member, just put in the shift, put in the results. It's as simple as that. But now let's switch our attention now to the Chelsea fan because you don't rest. You don't rest. So I'm going to ask you some few questions because I don't see why a team like Chelsea that has invested heavily could struggle. I'm going to ask you this very straightforward question. I want you to give me your answer. As a Chelsea fan, should Maresca still be allowed to stay at Chelsea? Because to be very, very candid with you, I have not really seen his impact. This man has been given a clean sheet, been given the necessary kind of players to work with. Yes, during the beginning of the season, we saw some flashes of greatness. But as time can go on, we can't separate the corn from the chaff. Chelsea fell by the wayside, they became the chaff. The corn can't go up. Should Maresca stay or leave?
I will say 100% yes, he should stay.
Okay.
Because I love his pattern of play.
Yeah.
He's a very, very disciplined coach.
Okay.
You can watch the light of when Lampard was in Chelsea.
Yes.
A lot of players are there. But later, this person came up, Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, came on.
With Lampard's efforts and with the players, Thomas Tuchel came and won the Champions League with the players. A lot of young boys.
They don't understand the weight that Jesse carries.
Yeah, so what's this that you have to give everybody a chance. You can't just give this because all of them, they are all young.
Yeah.
You don't know who is going to give you the results. So a lot of younger players are in Chelsea. Most players are in Chelsea.
They're like they're inexperienced.
Yes, inexperienced. But the clothes they are wearing or the jersey they are wearing, they don't know the
weight
it
carries. That's
but
very
I will
true.
say Maresca, I love him so much. I love him so much.
So you want him to stay?
I want him to stay.
Okay, now.
I want him to stay.
Right?
Yeah, free to-
Maresca, I think he's a good coach.
Yeah.
And I think he needs time. Chelsea make bad decision
Yeah.
while buying those players. This is an established team already. You can't
Just bring in as much.
just small or average guys. No, that is not what you need.
They're much. They're
Even
much.
if you are bringing small guys like Madrid does, like Barca does, you still need to like
those experience to guide them.
Yeah.
because someone needs to like nurture these young guys to do something for you. And with the record, they have lost over 1 billion.
Yes.
Their CEO
I think
now
I
has
saw
lost
the-
over 1
I
billion
stumbled upon that
buying
news.
players that they don't need.
Indeed.
And now they are now looking for clubs to push those players out.
They
of
have to
the zone.
offload them again
Yeah.
and
Again,
buy
out-
something else.
And those players
I believe they are.
those players that they are offloading, they are not the right players to offload.
No.
Like as a Chelsea fan, I'm not always happy when I see Osimhen playing in Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Should have been Chelsea. What Osimhen now? Nottingham Forest, they are doing better. It is playing.
But I believe when Odoi was still there, he cannot.
There are a lot of players
Cannot
there
do
then.
it.
He was still very
there are a lot
young.
of top
He was
players. He was
young,
very young then.
Yeah,
There are a lot of-
and
when
he
they
has
got-
a lot of senior guys ahead of him, which I believe he cannot just.
After that season, Chelsea loaned him to Bayer Leverkusen, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah,
now.
yeah,
And
yes.
throughout that
And
season,
he
he scored more
actually
than 9 goals and some like.
But when he came
assists.
back to Chelsea, he did not deliver.
Chelsea does have. That's what I'm telling you, that we don't have patience. Chelsea don't believe.
They need that
Chelsea don't
immediate
believe.
result.
Yes.
And that
They need
is
that-
why I said they are having problem with the type of signing they did. They should learn from their mistake.
Yeah.
It is not all about just going for small guys
Small
or because
boys,
they are
yeah.
cheap or
Yeah.
something, or because you think you want to bring up a salary structure to your team.
And then you buy anything
But
you
to
want.
me,
You're
Chelsea
like,
are not
no.
buying those young boys cheap.
Sorry, I
Chelsea
want
are spending a lot of money now.
There's a question I want to ask you concerning the Maresca of a coach. You understand? You said he's a good coach, right? Yes, no doubt, he's a good coach.
They're bringing
Because
Leicester
he
bringing
actually
Leicester to
did-
the Premier League.
Yeah, bringing
he's a good coach.
bringing a team from the championship.
It's not
to the-
easy.
It's not an easy
tough.
task.
It's
you
tougher
understand?
than playing in the EPL.
Yes.
So you're talking about Maresca being a good coach, eh? There's this question I want to ask you. If it's you as a coach, you are actually second in the table, From being second, now you're battling yourself
Yeah.
Top 5.
to top 5, not even top 4 again, no,
Top 5.
top 5. Would you see yourself? Tell yourself the truth. Would you see yourself like, are you the problem or the players are the problem?
He
of the
gamble
team?
and he make mistake.
Eh?
Most,
He gamble and he make
not
mistake.
the gambling.
He did.
Most times, injury crisis.
Look at the pattern of his formation
most
or
times,
his.
most times injury crisis happen. There's some players that they will give you 100%.
How many injuries does Chelsea have this season?
Jackson is a
How
injury
many
crisis.
in total?
Jackson.
You don't
Where's James going?
just say because
Where's-
injury. No.
No.
Manchester United battle with a lot of injuries.
What's happening to
Yes,
Tottenham?
they
What's
did
happening to
try
Tottenham Hotspur?
Tottenham is an
Yes.
injury.
How much 14 players are
Yeah,
I can't,
yeah,
defend. I can't defend.
It's from the
When,
beginning. but let's not.
when
let's
Manchester
not
United was
talk-
having
I'm not
problems,
trying to- I'm not
when
trying to
Manchester
tell you
United was
injury.
having problem, we are talking about having injury. Nobody is backing us with it.
Okay.
They don't support it. But now Tottenham is having crisis.
Yeah.
They can openly come out and
See, they have
put it
injuries.
under the.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
because of the
Which is
injured
wrong.
players. And which is what he wants to do with Chelsea also.
Now let's
that-
give him. Now let's
Okay.
give him. Let's give him. Let's
now,
give him
okay,
the
now
room to defend
you
himself.
Okay.
know what I said. I
Yes.
said it's Maresca, the coach. You guys said he's good,
Yeah.
fine and good. Everyone is good. Do you believe he is that good
He's
for
the right
him
man
not
for the
to
job.
qualify for top 5?
There are a lot of coaches in England that are more than Maresca.
I think he's a baby
They have
coach.
proved right to more than Maresca.
Yeah. I think-
See,
So you don't tell me this is the first time of coaching in Premier League.
yeah,
He's always an assistant in Man City before, right?
definitely.
Before going to Leicester, and that
I
was
think you have a very valid point. That's,
Yeah?
that's a
No,
tough
So-
maybe we should.
so-
Sorry, okay, continue.
There was
Let
a time
me-
Rafael Benitez came to Everton. Why does Rafael Benitez Ancelotti? Do you expect Ancelotti to come top in the Premier League because of his profile?
Oh.
There are some teams that you go to, you check their players, either they are average or not. To me, Maresca, in this position, they should leave Maresca.
But
You
do
see
you
what
know?
they
Do you know?
As I
Sorry
said,
to come in.
Maresca is good, but the players are not okay.
You
No,
see,
not that
let
players
me-
are not
let-
okay.
Okay, let me
Not that
just
the
say
players are
something.
not okay.
The player is working with are not okay.
That's what I'm trying to tell you about Lampard and Thomas Tuchel.
You know,
You
have
said
might have players
failed with
not Thomas Tuchel.
and
No, it's not Thomas.
But you
It's
cannot.
Pochettino.
But you
Lampard
don't
signed
tell
them,
me the
right?
same
No, it
caliber
was
of player.
Pochettino. After Lampard left, it was
No, who
Pochettino.
won the league?
No,
Who won the
no,
league? It was
Tuchel.
Tuchel.
No, after Lampard, it was
Tuchel.
Tuchel now.
After Lampard, it was Tuchel.
It was
not
Tuchel.
Who? Pochettino.
Was the
coached
last
them.
Not Pochettino. That was after
No,
when
that was
Pochettino-
later.
They sacked Pochettino for Maresca.
Yes.
They
That's what I'm
sacked-
saying.
They sacked.
No, he was
No,
talking
they
about
sacked-
the players Lampard used.
They sacked.
Tuchel came in and did magic with those players.
Like
Yes, now,
Lampard
they-
cannot
they won the
deliver
Champions
good
League.
player, but Tuchel was able to
Yeah,
deliver.
you
with
might have
something.
players,
But
you don't know how to put it
yet,
in.
you
See.
can't still determine with these
Let me
players.
tell
It's
you,
hard.
understand?
Do you know one thing about Maresca is
Yeah.
the board actually told him what kind of players you need.
Yeah.
He said he needs the young guys who can fight, wants to play. You know, in a coach has his own structure. The management have their own structure. He said, okay, since you need this kind of player, what kind of player do you need? Because it's only a coach that will say, okay, I need this guy, get him for me. Then the board will buy him. Now, they gave you the kind of player you need. The season you shined. You understand?
Yeah.
Palmer did well. You understand? The praises was there.
Yeah.
Now it's got to a fresher season. And you were second in the log. What happened? That's why I asked you the question. What happened? Do you think the fault is from the player
That's why I said he
or the
gambled.
coach? Because It's not about the
Structure or
injury. See, no
formation.
club in Premier League, no club in Premier League or in the world of football that don't have at least injury crisis of like 5 to 6 players.
But not an important
When the coach
players.
is not doing well,
Not your
he's
important
not doing well.
players. Not your important players.
Okay, now let's
What's your important
not
players?
deviate too much on this topic. We have asked him this question. He will never give him a chance to defend himself.
Yeah.
Let him defend
He's
himself.
still actually beating around the
We are
bush.
almost.
You're right.
He's
almost-
still actually
we're
because
almost done with our time.
what I want to know is, as it stands now, to me, I would say it loud and clear. Maresca is not a good coach to me. To me, I would say
That's his own opinion.
That's his
that's
opinion.
why.
Maresca-
Because see, let me tell you, once it comes, the one is coach. Their coaches, even okay. Let's check out Howell of Newcastle. Don't get me wrong. The Howell of Newcastle,
Yeah.
he's not classical.
Yeah.
They actually brought him from, I think, Bournemouth, right?
Yes.
And Bournemouth was actually not doing bad.
He was already sacked before they signed him.
Yeah.
No, they paid him off from Bournemouth because they just needed someone who would take on, because the big coaches don't want to come to Newcastle, but they had a project. And he came to Newcastle not as a classical coach, not as a good coach, but he was just doing his normal thing. And watch the way he transformed. This is Maresca's second season in Chelsea.
This is second or
This is the
first
fourth season.
Fourth season.
The first
This is the
season.
first season.
Okay, his first season.
Yeah.
And actually he's trying to, but Howell's first season, well, how was it? Champions League.
You will not compare. You
Wait,
will not compare.
Even without the players, no, if we should say about the players that Chelsea have, now,
They're mostly inexperienced.
they're mostly in it. Even what about Newcastle? What would you say
Newcastle
there?
has
had more
Newcastle has set of
experience.
players
No,
that are
you-
Newcastle had
winning
more
or they are
experience than-
you
working
would
on
only say
giving the
they
best.
had players that are motivated and like played like a
No,
team.
They're trying to give their best.
Newcastle young
That's
players.
That's the
what
same
they
thing
are
Chelsea
doing.
would have done.
Chelsea is not doing it.
Now let's
That's the thing I'm
And the
saying.
coach is having
not
problem
give-
with his selection also.
because he's yet.
Whereas you tell me you had a
Do you know why? Because
playing from the right,
you have too
then-
much depth of squad that you cannot contain with your
Yes,
brain.
that is just
Okay,
the
now
problem.
let's-
When it gets to a good coach, when it gets to a good coach, you know how to fit in. That's why you see likes of Pep Guardiola. Arteta is not that
He doesn't have the
classical,
player
but
management.
you see, he knows how to manage players.
Doesn't have player management.
That's the thing. That's why I want to let you to my own opinion.
Doesn't
Say
have player
he's not
management.
that kind of coach which you think
Doesn't
is
have
at the
the money.
Chelsea.
Okay.
Now you can continue.
So I think I understand where you are coming from. I understand where you have landed. But I want us to get this point. Maresca is not a bad coach. He's
He's a
good,
good
he's, a,
coach.
he's a good coach in my own opinion.
To me, he's not.
In my own opinion. Because
good coach.
coming from the championship,
Championship.
playing that marathon of games,
Championship
and
playing
bringing a play,
weekends and midweek.
Now,
This
that is
is a
one.
big tax.
his first season in the EPL, he has not done so badly. Thirdly, let's take into consideration the fact that 90% of his new signings are all inexperienced.
Experience. How many?
Oh, this is the reason Mikel Obi in his podcast is always clamoring for signing the right kind of experienced players, mix them up. When he was playing for Chelsea, he was inexperienced. They brought him and he was playing with Makalele. He was playing with Essien. He was playing with Lampard. In that same time when he was still doing well, they brought him Ballack.
But
That's what they call
sorry
mixing.
sorry to ask you, before Maresca came, Palmer has played in the
Now,
Premier League.
that's where I'm driving at. That's where I'm driving at.
Jackson has played in the Premier League.
That's what I'm driving
No,
at.
Jackson?
Yes.
Wait, no,
Jackson.
wait.
Jackson played under
Yeah,
Pochettino.
Let me
Pochettino bought Jackson. He has played one
let
season.
me finish
That was
that. Let
in
me
Chelsea.
Yes, Jackson is the
land.
second season in
Say-
This is
Chelsea.
second- yeah,
It's
second
still
season.
fresh.
Hello.
It's not fresh.
This is.
You can't tell me the second season is not fresh after he
Wait.
played 30-something games in
Let
Chelsea.
me land before you bury me.
Okay.
What I'm driving at is that Chelsea took a panic buy and a risky buy in Cole Palmer, and it paid off. So they believe if they can get multiple young talented players like that, at least 1, 2, 3, or 4, be able to pay off. That's what they did.
Because all
There is nobody that will go and sign an inexperienced Cole Palmer at that age and level for 50 million and expect him to do wonders. That young man came in and had 30 plus goals and assists. So they believe they can get those kind of young set of players in a number of them. Maresca told Chelsea, but I want young players. He's not telling them go and get Mechanic Chukwuemeka. The owner of Chelsea has a main say in who he buys.
Yeah.
I want a Kane Chukwuemeka. I want a Kopama type of player for extra. I go and watch young clips of young talented players. I think he can play like Kopama. Let's buy him. They buy 4. That's what he did. He doesn't have any say in the transfer. He only has a say the kind of player he wants. The owner of the team has a final say in who they buy. So he wants to buy. If it's going to cost him 90 million to buy Pedri, he'll buy a Pedri lookalike for 45 million and say 45 was what he did. But let's not dwell much into that. I think I understand your point.
Oh, no problem.
Now,
I
let's
actually want to
ask-
say something, but
No, go on, say you drop what you want
no,
to say.
because there's this. You see Chelsea, I'm not see. Chelsea is not meant to be struggling.
Yes.
You know
Why
I
you say
say so. You know I say so.
That is,
Eh?
No.
Let him- let him-
You know I
Let's
say
hear
so.
his view.
Maresca, to you, he said he's a good coach. 90% of players that are in Chelsea, starting from let's start from the goalkeeping aspect. They have all been playing in the Premier League. Apart from let's say Gusto, maybe from outside or the other guy they bought. But if you check from midfield, Sedio, Premier, Enzo has played.
No.
And Enzo
Has played more than one
yes,
season.
Enzo played one season.
This
This
is
is
second
season.
season.
that's one season.
See, it doesn't see. Well, okay. You might call Chelsea now. You say these guys are young, but they play for the national teams. You understand? See, being young, playing for your national team, and playing for clubs. You guys have played Premier League, for one season. No matter how it is, you don't need 5 seasons for you to queue up.
Oh.
That one season alone, it's okay. Just that what I would say is the coach technique and tactical play that will determine what will be the outcome. That's why I'm telling you guys that for a coach like Maresca to lead Chelsea to the table of like second, and at the time you're begging for top 5. Arteta won't have that chance and drop.
No. That's happened to Arteta a lot of times.
Arteta has.
And beg for top 4.
No.
Wait, and beg for top 4.
It might not be begging
Arteta
for
first
top 4, but he
Arteta
had
first
made
season,
mistakes.
Arteta first season in Arsenal, in Arsenal, his position was 3rd.
Yeah. Second season.
Since his second season, since then till now, he's second.
He has been second 3 years now.
That's second.
Twice.
This is the 3rd year of being
That's
second.
what I'm
and
saying.
it is 3
And he
years
has,
now.
he's I think he's like 5th season in.
Now let's
Arsenal
not.
or sixth.
If you're
You
going to
see,
compare coaches,
I'm not comparing. I'm just
No, I
giving
understand.
you instances.
if you're going to
Understand?
compare, you also have to consider the fact that
You don't compare
your
Arteta with Maresca.
player quality determines.
Do you know? Okay,
Arsenal does not have that lengthy, that long list of young players.
Apart from that,
But they are first 11 and there are maybe extra 5 to 7 players on the bench
do you know?
who defeat anybody in
Bro,
30 matches.
apart from that,
Arteta groomed Saka.
apart from that, bro.
Arteta
He's not
groomed.
groom Saka.
Hello.
He has had
apart from that,
he
look at
came
Saka
out-
was.
Arteta very playing in the
Saka,
Premier League before as a player.
That's what I say.
But let's not dwell
was
too much.
also part of the coaching crew.
Let's
of-
not dwell too much on that.
You understand? So this he's supposed to be in this top notch of like even though you're not good, at least there's somewhere he's supposed to place himself.
Something happens to Chelsea.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of another errand for them.
Okay,
After the sold off of the team,
Yeah,
it is not easy
To come back to that
to
level.
come back easily.
definitely.
Even I still see
understand.
Chelsea struggling next season. For real. It is no. I'm not being biased now. It is not easy. Because right now Chelsea is still selling like 7 or 6 players this summer
More than
players.
to buy new one
more than
again.
7. More than 7.
So Chelsea is
That means
in
they
a
plan
process of trying to
waste
redefine
another
or
1 billion
reform
again.
their
It's not-
team.
it's still the
So
goalkeeper.
it's not
It's still the
easy.
They plan waste
Okay, now.
1 billion again.
Before we call it the end on today's episode, I have one final question, and this goes to Mr. Malik, the Manchester United fan, Mr. NSC, the Chelsea fan. Chelsea versus Manchester United this season. Who has had a better season, a better 2024-2025 season? I'll start with you, Mr. Chelsea.
To me, I would say it's Chelsea.
I think you have your own right. You have your own.
Yeah,
your own.
Because when you check the log,
Yeah.
Chelsea is at least 6th. Manchester United 14. So you can.
It's clear.
Yes, you don't need to even.
Times 2 said
Even though they call kindergarten and let them who is doing better, you know that it's Chelsea.
But on the continent, they have the record. They have the record on the continent.
What record is that?
What I call
Oh,
Chelsea.
United, I mean,
United.
What
in
record?
which way?
Unbeaten in
On all of
European
European
competition.
In Europa League. What about in the conference? Chelsea just lose to a match last against Liga was all.
That's not the first time Chelsea losing. this
Yes,
conference.
so you won't tell me that Chelsea is not even doing better in Europe.
But both of them are still in the competition.
They're still in competition.
But
They are-
who
they are
has the
still
record in an European competition is still
Manchester
Manchester.
United. That one is then,
Yeah.
not now.
It's still now.
No, I
Now,
mean,
present
who is
season.
having a better season currently? I think
I would say it's
I will
Chelsea.
place Chelsea too.
Chelsea.
But let's hear from you, Mr. Malik. Chelsea, Manchester United this season. Who is having a better season?
Chelsea. I'm being honest.
Thank you for being honest. God bless you. At least you did not help us waste our time, because
Chelsea.
if you put it like this on the table in the EPL,
But,
Chelsea
you-
is 6th.
but I want to counter what he's saying.
Right.
There's a bit counter.
Okay.
I want to say it's Man U.
Man
Do you know why? In
Okay.
as much as you're a Man U fan, I want to say it's Man U. Do you know why I said it's Man U?
Okay.
Your crisis didn't start when Amorim came in.
No.
your crisis started from your previous school, which is,
Years back.
you understand? So, Man U seeing them not relegating, you're doing better.
No.
No.
I'm just telling wait.
No.
I'm telling you my
No,
own.
no,
I'm
no.
telling you my own opinion because Chelsea.
We are comparing just this season.
Chelsea bought players and the coach started with them from the preseason stage.
You don't understand.
And they got. I understand where you're going to. I'm just giving my own instances and I'm telling you why it is like that. So you understand? Chelsea had this depth of squad like than Man U. Man U, if you check out from the mid-season, the main season they didn't buy. It was from the mid-season. And you know, buying players, much player from the mid-season is destroys team. I'm bringing a coach from not even the mid-season has gone before they brought him in, trying to bring a new system to the team. Organizing boys is a very hard one not to. And since then, they have been battling 13-14, winning games. But Chelsea being on the 5th, on 2nd on the log, coming down to 5th. To me, I don't see them doing better.
I'll say something. This is Manchester United. This is Chelsea.
Okay.
We're having a terrible season. Not now.
The
That
two of
started
yourself.
a while ago. But going front and back, Chelsea is still performing better than Man
And Man is
United.
unbeaten.
In a way.
You are not doing well, but you're doing unbeaten.
Hold on. In some games, you will watch Man United play. You will watch those guys play. They play awfully. Then you go to another match, they will play brilliantly.
Against the big teams, not the smaller teams.
Why are you able to like channel so much energy playing big teams, then dropping back for the lower teams?
Because it's pride. That's what I said. It's pride.
That's-
Pride is there.
That is one of those reasons why we are not having a good season.
See.
You cannot tell me you are beating the big 6 or the big 5 and you are losing to, because the big 5 doesn't win anything for
Do you know the game?
Hold
more?
on.
Okay.
The lower
Okay.
team, the lower
Let's
guys,
be quick about it, guys, because our time is fast spent already.
the lower
Quick on.
guys win, the lower matches win this for you. 6 out of 30 something or 20, 32. We have to win the lowers.
The reason why I said Chelsea is doing more better than Manchester United. When you check their results this season, Chelsea mostly play 1-0, 2-1. When you check Man U, they must come Man U. Why?
That is because we are having a
Play
no,
14,
that is
even-
because we are having
even the
a
big-
terrible
big-
season.
No, even the big clubs.
That's why we're
even
having
the
a
big
bad
boys
season.
In other leagues do concede. It's a normal thing in football.
But Manchester
Understand?
United is always
But
every
Manchester
time,
United
almost every
have
time
lost
consistent.
the highest number of EPL games in their history.
Yeah,
Yes, this
yeah,
season.
definitely.
But now let's.
But why are you doing unbeaten in Europe?
That's European competition.
That's
That's
European
the
competition.
But that's our only hope.
So I want to thank you guys for the time so far in the studio today. It's been very, very intensive, very, very interesting. And just like we promised our fans out there, today we don't promise you now. This is the clash of the big boys in the EPL. Manchester United, Chelsea. As it happened for TV, they watch them. We don't see them here. Very, very intensive. So unfortunately, we've come to the end of yet another exciting edition of the Fine Football Podcast Show. And to our viewers, wherever you're watching us from, outside the shores of Nigeria or within the countries, please do ensure to follow us on our social media pages, most especially our YouTube page. Remember to keep notifications buttons on so as to do our content whenever they drop. And from all of our TRF podcasts, it's goodbye.
Thank
God
you.
bless.